Yeah, we got a new setup this year, with Ben being kind of like the director of performance, kind of overseeing everything, and the connection between the training room and the weight room and everything is just kind of cohesive, and we worked through a lot of the logistics of everything, just kind of getting everything dialed in this off season. But I'm excited about working with those guys, and I think Ben brings a ton of knowledge, and our new athletic trainer Dustin seems like a great guy, and hopefully I won't have to see him too much this year, but. Yeah, like you said, this off season we had a lot of guys that were missing time for whatever it was they were doing, but I think because of that, I think everybody's really healthy and ready to go this year. So.
Do you feel it's a more cautious approach to this off season?
I don't think any than before, maybe like as far as like specifics, but I think just because of the nature of what guys are dealing with, I think people are. Soft tissue injuries in May. Let's make sure they don't linger and get them handled with in May, and so they're not lingering into July.
Do you have a schedule for camp that they say, do you know what days you'll be practicing, what days you won't be practicing?
No, not like specifically, but last year we kind of did a thing that was like 2 days on, 1 day off for myself, which worked well, and I felt good going into the season, so probably do something similar.
I guess Kyle talked to you guys at some point in the offseason and said, hey, got the culture great, everybody likes each other.
Yeah, you got to win.
Yeah, how was that received? What did you think about
Well, because I think the same thing. It's like you get a new general manager, a new head coach in here. It's going to take a year or two to get people that they want, the system that they want. Everybody's dialed in. And, last year was the year that we really felt like going into the year we had the pieces in the right spot. I think we added a ton more this offseason, but it's time to win. Obviously, I think it's been spoken by a lot of players this offseason, so expectations are really high. I think everybody stands up here on day one in training camp and says, our expectations, win the Super Bowl and all that stuff. But I think that's all just people saying that day one, everybody expects to as a competitor to win. But what it's going to take is, having great practices, developing that mindset in the locker room, developing that, that expectation as a team that anything but, winning this season especially is unacceptable.
Do the linemen take part in the players-only practices that Jimmy organized
No.
over the?
What were those? No, we can't do much there. What are we going to do?
Yeah.
Swat some flies in the air or something?
I mean, do you as one of the leaders of the team like the fact that those guys are putting in the work? I mean,
yeah, of course.
You have the Camp Alex stuff.
Yeah, we did that, and that was more so because of the holdout that year, and we wanted to kind of get together, and there was a little bit more of a contingency of a lot of different players that were there because we couldn't be here during the whole entire off season. But yeah, all the extra work, all that stuff is it's nothing but positive. But you expect that. You expect out of your quarterback to do stuff like that. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's like mind-boggling that he did that, and it's like unbelievable because I expect him to do stuff like that.
You just alluded to it, but what does his team need to do to take the next step and make the playoffs other than just stay healthy?
What you said too. That's obviously a huge thing. I think. If you look back, I'm one of the only players here from the Harbaugh eras and stuff when we were actually in the playoffs the last time. But I think a big reason was that because we had a lot of talent on the team, but also because we were healthy. If you look at the offensive line, we stayed healthy the whole entire season for like 3 years straight, which is unheard of. Mm-hmm. We had continuity and all that stuff, so I think that's a big part of it. It's easy to kind of gloss over that, and you just got to stay healthy. But I think that's one of the reasons for the last couple of years that we haven't been able to have sustained success is because we haven't been able to stay healthy, and some of that's luck, and some of that's just training the right way. So I think we have a good strength staff, we have a good training staff, and I think everybody feels good. But also, it's just I think the mentality. I think having Sherm coming back completely healthy, guys like him, guys that are really like vocal locker room dudes, and it's kind of like that culture that he came from Seattle was that almost bravado, ego kind of stuff that rubs off on a lot of younger players, and not just saying it being fake, but like living that life and having confidence and practicing that way in the football field. I think that carries a lot. So that's what training camp's about, is just kind of creating our identity as a football team and going from there.
Kyle talked about changing up the reps a little bit. I know that to kind of keep everyone healthy. Does that affect you at all? I know you take some time off your vet days. But
For training camp,
Mhm.
we'll see. I don't know. I'm like different because when I first came in the NFL, 2007, and we had double days. But it's different, It's just what I was used to as like hard training camp practices are now thought of as like, oh my God, how did you go through that? So whatever he wants to do to keep guys healthy, and I'm all for whatever. Just get out there and work. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't been taught about it or told about any of that stuff yet.
A couple more guys?
How curious are you to see how Jimmy is mobility-wise, as now that he's fully cleared and you're going to have pass rush to defend for him?
Yeah, we've been working. I mean, we've seen him. He was doing a lot of stuff on air, this off season, but not with pass rush. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. Pass rush. It's hard to say fast, kind of. A lot of S's in there.
Harder to block.
Yeah, no, it's hard to say. A lot of S's. The pass rush around him. Not so curious because we've seen him, and I think it's going to be. I don't think anybody's wondering how he's going to handle it. I think guys are just excited to have him back out there, and run team reps with him and all that stuff. But yeah.
How do you think he's handled the mental aspect of losing last year, like you said, after coming in with high expectations and then entering this year with super high expectations?
Him specifically?
Yeah, how do you think he's handling that?
I think he's handling it really well. I mean, Jimmy's done everything that we've asked him to do since he's come here. He's incredibly hard worker. He's a great leader for the football team. He understands the offense, like the back of his hand. He does all the stuff that you're asked out of a quarterback. He just hasn't been on the field. I mean, last year he was on 3 games, and the year before that he was on 5. So the thing for him is just to be out there on the field. He's put in a ton of work this offseason. We all saw the work that he did behind the scenes and all that stuff as far as preparing himself for this season. And I think knowing him and the personality that he has, that he's ready to take on that challenge. But I think you'll have to ask him that. That's just for me seeing it.
Last one,
Sorry.
guys.
Besides Sherman, who else makes noise in the locker room? In a
I make
positive
noise.
way?
But, I think I'm actually really not that loud. I don't know. I mean, it's like everybody has their own unique way. I can't just, on the top of my head, think of guys that are big-time noisemakers.
You make some noise, Roy, in a different way than Sherman, though, right? And
Like
leadership
trash talk?
matters.
Oh, I mean, we have, Defoe's unbelievable leader, but it's different kind of ways.
Yeah.
Juszczyk's a great leader, but different ways. It's not everybody's not specific to that, but I think that's what makes a team successful is if you have a lot of different types of leaders, types of guys that do things. Some guys are just all action. Some guys are more pull guys to the side, kind of show them how it's done, leading that way. Some guys are very loud and demonstrative, and but we'll all see because we have a lot of new guys too here that we're asking a lot out of. Quan and D and even in Nick Bosa. I mean, you could come in as a second overall pick. You have a certain amount of expectations on you as far as how you're going to act and how you're going to prepare and practice on the football field. So I'm excited to see all those guys in a team aspect and in training camp this year, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, thanks, Joe.